Welcome to my podcast, Trade Secrets. Thank you for watching, listening. I don't know, all the above. Today, I have someone with us who is super talented, super humble, super funny, and actually is like, got some lineage with the building that we're sitting in, actually. We're sitting at 6000 Sunset East West Studios, which have the good fortune of managing. And today my guest is Damon Tedesco. Hey,
Hello.
Damon, how you doing?
How are you, Candace? Nice to see you.
Very nice to see you. It's always a great day when you're here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, because I know you're going to teach the guys something, hopefully.
Oh,
Yeah.
Free help.
Yeah,
What the
basically.
fuck?
Yeah,
Come
free
on.
teaching. I really only asked one question, and then then we'll,
All right.
rein each other in.
Yeah.
Where were you born?
Where was I born?
Yeah, that's
Isn't this like a security question that I could
that you
get
have to
hijacked?
remember for your
what's
password on your
what's
bank
my
account,
What's
on
my
your Venmo.
my high school mascot?
Oh, we'll get there too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but where were you born?
I was born in Burbank,
You
California. Yep, I'm born and raised, and then Northridge is where I spent my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and siblings, I know you have one because I know him, which is
Denny.
Which is Denny.
And then my
their
sister,
siblings?
sister Desiree, and then older brother Dale.
Everyone's with a D, huh?
Yes.
It's got to be a D.
Yeah. So, which is
Interesting.
fun when you initial everything DT, so it's annoying. But that's all right.
It could be any of you.
Yeah,
All right.
it's all good.
So Damon's dad was a well-known fixture in the LA music scene as well. His father is Tommy Tedesco, who's no longer with us. But again, all comes back to 6000 Sunset, which at that time was called Western Recorders. But did you grow up in this building? Did you run around in it?
No, not at all.
Didn't go to Dad's work?
No, I only went to Dad's work in, I think, for years he'd go, hey, do you want to go to work? And I'd be like, nah.
Because it's your dad's work.
You're just a stupid kid. And then you get into high school and you go, whoa, this is kind of cool. And then I went to a few sessions with him, and then that's when I was like, whoa, I really want to do this, And
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I
I think I was a junior or senior in high school.
Did you go to Burroughs? Where'd you go to high school? Where'd you go to school?
Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks.
Oh, Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. They moved. Got it. Yeah, moved to Northridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, musical household. Dad's playing guitar all the time.
He wouldn't play very often. He would only he would pick up a nylon string guitar, and he just kind of rummaged, just play a little bit while he's watching TV, while he's watching football or watching, and it wasn't like practice. He wasn't doing scales. He was just kind of, and sometimes
change his strings or something.
No, not even. He was just playing, and it was like, Dad, come on.
I know I can't hear the show. Dude, my husband does that.
Yeah, we're trying to watch, Happy Days.
We're trying to watch Gilligan's Island, Dad. We can't fucking hear.
Yeah. So, it wasn't that much of a musical household. I played guitar for a while. I wasn't very good. And then I played...
That's a common thread, by the way, for this show.
Not being good?
Well, no. Well, kind of. Like people that started with guitar and then realized, even... we just talked to Adam Mosley. He's like, I was crap.
It's just an impossible instrument. My God.
Dude, my husband's trying to teach me, and he's a really fine guitar player. And he goes, well, you have to cut your fingernails. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Well, that's not there. That's your
happening.
First problem, so...
And I don't even... All my brothers are musicians. I don't even know how to hold the fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like
no, I didn't get it.
So at Northridge, were you like a jock?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Did you play sports?
Not really. I was in the band. I was a band dork.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
So
this is also the other question.
It was.
What did you play in band?
Saxophone. And I did
Another
great with
running
that.
thread.
Yeah, it was really fun. I loved band, and then I got into college, and then played in jazz band in college, and I loved it.
Does Denny play?
Denny plays a multitude of instruments not well.
Again.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So sorry, Denny.
I think he'd probably say the same thing.
I know, exactly.
So Southern California boy.
Yep.
Oh, your parents, were they from New York?
They were from Niagara Falls, New York.
Oh my God, Niagara
And then they
Falls.
moved out here in the late 50s and to
Italian
give it a
family.
go. Yeah. And they moved to Van Nuys, and then from Van Nuys they moved to Northridge, and then we were...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what was your mom's name? Or is your mom's name?
Carmeline, but we call her Carmi.
Carmi,
So
got it.
Carmi Tedesco.
She's still with us?
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's been, I don't know, I don't even know, 5 or 6 years, something like that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it was, yeah. My dad passed away at 67, which was way young.
It's way too young.
And, but she passed away at 85, so she had a good long run.
Good long life, yeah. Yeah, similar. My dad died when I was really young. He was only 58. So you got Denny's older than you?
Denny's older than me. Dale's the oldest, he's 20 years older than me. So that's,
wow, that's quite a stretch.
75 and I'm 55.
What does Dale do?
Dale was a music publisher for a long time. And then he was in the business for a
and
while.
everybody kind of
Well,
Denny does documentaries.
Denny does documentaries.
You're an engineer.
And then I'm an engineer. And then Desiree was the smart one. She's in education, so
she's academic. All
academic. Right. So she's almost she's a few more years from retiring. But
so a
she's
tenured like professor. Or?
No, she works in grade schools and
like
stuff
an administrator.
That. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
And she's doing great. So she was a teacher for many years and then moved on to administration.
All right, well.
Yeah, she's cool.
You guys, because I know I'm super close with my brothers, too. They don't live here, but everybody's good.
Yeah.
3 older brothers, and then I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, and they had a band when I was growing up, and my oldest brother's 10 years older. He's a really fine guitar player, still plays. But they moved out to L.A., and they got jobs at the record plant.
Oh, my gosh.
And they were assistants at the record plant, which is how I ended up doing this crazy job, because I would come out and visit them. And then I moved out in 85, and my brother Steve opened a room where the old Kendon was, where Glenwood Place is now.
Uh-huh.
It was called Take One. And so all the people that Steve worked with, like Mike Klink was the front desk guy, Jim Scott was a runner, all those.
Oh,
and
isn't
Steve,
that amazing?
my maiden name is Smith. So Rick's my oldest brother, who's 10 years older, and then Steve's still engineers. He lives in Seattle. He runs a recording program. He does some designing and stuff, but he's a scoring guy. He went up in the 90s, and there's a church in Seattle.
Oh yeah,
the
no churches.
Union.
Yeah, that was.
So he's tracks a lot of film and worked with Michael Giacchino a lot.
Yeah. They've got a big rack of Grace Prees there, and it's real nice. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a remote truck for a while up there, but so that's how I have another brother, David, who lives here. He's the only one who lives here, and he's a photographer. So yeah, the whole family. But that's how that crazy thing happened.
Right.
How do you end up managing a recording studio?
Right.
You run down the street and someone grabs you, yeah. But one of the things that I think I want to always shine a light on is that, there's no one way to get your perfect job, and that everybody's journey is different, everybody's story is different.
Right.
But there's a common thread through a lot of the people that I interview that are engineers and producers, and it is that they played an instrument and said, I'm not that great at this. I really like this other thing. And they started to see, like, maybe there was a reel-to-reel machine. So what was the first thing? You're in band in high school or whatever. What was the first time that where you came to a session, you said?
Yeah, I went to a session, and it was...
was it here? Or Gold Star, maybe?
No, it was at Warner Brothers Scoring.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and I walked in, and...
Damon does a lot of scoring. That's what he does.
So it was like a long... The scoring stage back in the day was... They had a quad 8 console, and it was a long, like, kind of ramp. So you walk up there and you stand behind, and it's kind of elevated, and you're looking down. And it was a episode of Benson, the TV show.
Oh, I remember that show.
And it was really fun music. It was big bandy kind of music with saxophones and rhythm section and the whole thing.
Fun.
And it was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then they take a break, and then I walked down the thing, and then I was hanging with my dad, and God, it was just like so much fun. I mean, people laughing and telling dirty jokes and
having fun,
really fun. And I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then but I knew I wouldn't ever be a musician, but I was like, what is that? What does a technical person do? And I remember it was Sean Murphy, actually.
Oh, I love him so much.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, how does that, so anyway, and then 40 years later,
there wasn't really schools when we started. Not really. I mean, Soundmaster was there.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I went to Loyola Marymount University,
which has a great program.
They have a good program. Yeah.
I have people. I have on staff right now. I've got Carter, who's killing it, who came from Loyola. I've got.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sam Maxwell. Yeah, all from Loyola. And Matt
cool.
Linish was their teacher at Loyola, who's also done an episode of the show.
Yeah, it's a good university. It's a good school.
It's a great school, and UCLA and USC have good programs too.
Yep.
Film scoring, stuff like that. But the Loyola recording program seems to really hit home in a good way.
Yeah.
So, Dan, did you ever teach? I never thought about that.
I teach at Loyola. I mean, I taught at Loyola for a couple years.
Oh, you teach at UCLA?
And then I teach at UCLA.
Burr.
Yeah, no, that's all right. No, I teach in the extensions.
Right.
Which is really fun. And it's really a supportive role because I do the recording for different courses there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's fun.
Do you get to help at all with like curriculum and stuff like that? We've jumped way ahead. We're
No,
supposed to be in your. We're
no.
supposed to be in high school
Nah,
right now.
it's
But
all good. The only curriculum kind of thing that I did is I taught a class. It was like during COVID time, and then afterwards with Fletcher Beasley, who's a great composer and now moved on to bigger and better things
I
at
met
Marvel.
Fletcher at an SCL thing, and he told me he was taking over Marvel.
Yeah, so he's
at the
killing.
Disney thing.
Yeah.
He is killing it.
Yeah, so he and I co-taught a class, and it was so much fun. So we had a great time for a few years, and then
I need to talk to Fletcher. Fletcher needs to be booking time.
He's legit. So he moved on, and he's doing great. So
I met his wife too. She was super, super fun and super cool too.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. She's awesome. She's an artist,
Mm-hmm.
a painter. So your dad, was making a living. He's a working musician,
Right.
Session player. And I think there are some people who might hear this or see it and not really understand that there are people that are playing every day that they may not tour, you may not know who they are. It might not be a household name, but they've
Right.
played on every record you've heard.
Sure.
And the same with recording engineers. I mean, there's so many engineers that we all know because we're in this world, but that people don't really comprehend how important the role of the engineer is. And I always say, music is amazing, but no one would hear it without you guys.
Right.
Without someone capturing it,
Yeah.
it would
it matters, and I think the thing is, for at least scoring, I don't know, I don't do,
all of it.
I don't do the much of the record stuff, but on the scoring side of things, for I say us, but for anyone that's involved in that, you kind of want to be invisible. You want to be great and
Absolutely.
not be like, hey, why is there problems? Like that's the. So if you can do a great job and everyone's like, sounded great, you're like, cool. Then I
That's the satisfaction.
I killed it. Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
I killed it. Like to go in and to run a session well and to make sure everyone is comfortable,
Yeah.
has a great time.
Yeah.
Has all the musicians have great headphone feeds
Yeah.
and everyone's legit, and then we get out on time.
Yeah.
That's kind of the.
I mean, that's, again, I keep repeating myself, but that's the thing. We were talking in the last one when I was talking to Adam Mosley earlier today about, it isn't about us. It's never about the end. And each person in the chain is
Yeah.
subordinate, because if you're the runner, you're subordinate to the assistant. If you're the assistant, you're subordinate to the first engineer. First engineer, you're dealing with a producer, and or if it's a score, the composer, director, if it's a film, whatever. And then, it's really about the artist, and it's really about the music. And our job is to, like you said, make people feel comfortable, make sure everything's working, and then get out of the way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let them create and do their thing.
Yeah,
and
capturing the magic. I want to say that engineers don't get the accolades that they should. They don't get the notice that they should, but they know. Like you said,
we know.
I know.
Yeah.
We know what you do. So Anna, I know one of the biggest ones you ever did here was that crazy 80. Well, and I think it was, so the classic story, when you run a recording studio, engineers save your ass. Like all the time. And if you're an engineer, hopefully the studio manager sometimes saves your ass too. I mean, it's a lot of ass saving going on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like safety nets everywhere.
Yeah, it's a lot of safety nets going on.
Yeah.
But Damon is one of the craziest stories. Is when I first came back here in like 2010. Was pretty early on. It was Jeremy Miller's first day, which I totally spaced on.
That's
who is an
hilarious.
assistant, who's a great
He's a
assistant,
great
a freelance
assistant and now
engineer
great
now.
engineer, yeah.
Great engineer. And I got a call from David Lowe.
Yeah.
And he was the contractor.
It was
and
for Activision.
Yeah,
It was
and
for
I think it was for. I thought it was something that Chris Cornell was doing.
Yeah, it was Chris Cornell, and it was a live show for
Was it the James?
E3, which was the video game thing that was happening at what would have been the Staples Center.
Yeah, Staples, and they were trying to record it at Staples, and it wasn't working or some shit.
So
and,
they needed to do a pre-record.
dude, and they didn't have an engineer lined up. I don't think.
No, it was one day.
I think
before.
I hired you. Like I called you and said, "Oh my God, you have to do this or help us or save us."
You called me and said, "Hey, we've got an 80-piece orchestra." I said, "Wow, that's pretty big for that room." And it was like, "Okay, well, I think," and I said, "Well, okay, when is it?"
See,
and you said it's tonight.
Yeah, it's tonight. We had like 3 hours. We had like 3 hours to set up, and I think it's to date that I'm aware of, it's the biggest session we've ever done. I mean, in Studio One.
Yeah, in studio. It was pretty insane.
It was insane.
So I think it was like,
Dude,
it was
but you
probably
killed
2 o'clock, and well, thank you. It was really fun. But it was kind of like, okay.
Oh, shit.
I said, just get a lot of people there to help me out, and we
Yeah.
just did it, and it was great.
Yeah, just get a lot of chairs and make it happen.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway.
It was fun.
But that's the kind of thing that happens. It's like, you're flying by the seat of your pants. So when you walked into that first kind of scoring session and you get the bug in your head, you're like, oh, man, I want to do this. This looks cool. And then you went to Loyola.
Yeah.
Do you remember, of course you remember, what was the first studio job you had?
First studio job was actually at Evergreen. So old Evergreen with
Artie Butler.
Gil Levant and Charlie Fox.
Okay.
And that was my first answering phones gig and doing that sort of thing for while I was in the university for junior year, senior year, just trying to keep my foot in the door.
Right.
And then once I graduated, then it was like I got hired as, a runner, and then just kind of kept going.
Who were some of the people who worked there? I think Frank Wolf probably worked there, the usual suspects.
Kerry Butler, Artie's son.
Oh, I love him. He's a
he's
sweet
great.
pie.
Yeah, so he worked there, and Murray McFadden and John Richards.
Oh, okay.
So there was a lot. Rick Riccio was a great house engineer.
Oh,
so there was a lot of great engineers that, for me as an assissint, and not even
you could learn from.
I learned from, and I wasn't even an assistant like running tape machines. I was like the stage person, running mic lines, setting up.
Like kind of what they
sessions.
had at Capitol when they call it the setup.
Yeah, setup guys. So it was pretty awesome. That was a really good way to learn, because
I'm very glad that Evergreen is open.
Yeah, me too. It's a great facility. And then now, from there, then I kept, just going and going, and then there was a job that opened up at Warner Brothers Scoring, and then I interviewed for it and got that.
Is that the Eastwood stage? Is there more than?
Yeah.
Is there? I should know this. Is there more than one scoring stage?
There used to be. There used to be a scoring one, A and a B. And
that's what I thought.
B was a small room, which was actually a really cool room, but they got rid of it and made it a dubbing room. So then now they still got the big room.
Yeah.
But that's where I went from there. So it was good.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Now, there's not really a union for recording engineers per se, but when you're a scoring guy and when you work on film and video games and stuff like that, there is a division of IATSE. So for you, would you be a Y1? What are you?
No, now I'm a Y1 because that's a mixer, but back in the day I was a Y8, which was a boom operator.
Oh, okay.
So, they kind of classified us under like hold the boom, that kind of person. But basically that was a setup person.
So like the sound department of film.
Mm-hmm. Sound department of film. And it was great. I mean, when I was making literally $4.65 an hour at Evergreen, which was, the minimum wage, and you just do your thing. And then all of a sudden you're, 22, 23 years old, and boom, you're making like $40 an hour.
Which is awesome.
It's just like a life change.
Well, it's enough to have support a family.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then insurance and all the other fun stuff that comes with
all those good
union stuff.
How old are you?
55.
Oh, you're a little baby. I'm
Oh,
65.
God.
I'm 65.
Well,
Where did it go?
we're trying.
I don't even know what's fucking going on.
I know, right?
Who are you? Where are we? Yeah. It goes really, really fast, though.
Yeah, it kind of does. Everyone says that, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. We got our whole life ahead
The older
of us.
you
And
get,
I'm
the
like,
faster it
no.
goes.
Yeah, it's just speeding up now.
I think it's speeding up. Is that like physics? I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the things, the workflow of doing a scoring session versus a rock record, one of the things that we do in this building, one of the things that and you have helped me so much, one of the things we do endeavor to do is to expose the assistants and the runners to all kinds of different sessions. We don't want you to be a two-fader hip-hop engineer doing vocals. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's fine. But if you work in this building, you're going to learn how to do big band. You're going to learn how to do a rock rhythm section. You're going to do those two-fader vocal sessions. Then you're going to do scoring sessions. You have to learn the timing and the pacing and the flow of a scoring date.
It's really different.
Where there's 60 people getting paid, triple scale versus, a rock demo.
Right.
So, and that pressure, it takes a unique personality. because I mean, all sessions are pressure when you're the engineer. You make
Right.
it look easy, and,
Right.
and there are no problems ever.
No.
And you make it look easy because everyone has to be at ease. But the pressure when you look out, and I'm sure when you're at Warner or at Fox and you look out, there's 150 people.
Right, there's like a lot, yeah.
And then headphones go out or cue goes out.
Right.
It's,
see,
it's how you handle that.
It's how you handle it. Yeah, I mean, I think
That's one of the things I love about you. I would want you to do every scoring session here that we ever do.
Well, then let's talk.
Because I know, but I know that you're not gonna, even if you're freaking out internally, you're not gonna freak out in front of the clients.
No, it's about just making.
And no one's
making
gonna
sure.
die.
No, but I mean, I think
It's important.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're kind of holding it together, but not a bullshit holding it together
Yeah.
But I think I'm fortunate in the way that I did so many years at Warner Brothers, so many years at Fox, as an assistant and a stage person, that I got to know so many different engineers and see so many different. I mean, literally
Personalities.
thousands of sessions.
Yeah.
That I was just hanging back, and I got to feel the rhythm and the flow of how that works. So then when I, moved up eventually to start recording and mixing, I'm not saying that it was easy, but it was like the nervousness part was never, it was like, yeah, okay, let's do this. So that was never even a problem.
Well, there's not, I mean, confidence
so
is a
lucky.
good thing, dude.
No, I know, yeah. That was a cool thing.
Yeah.
But
and
I
you
think,
also get to see what doesn't work. Like when
I'm
you see
telling
people
you,
blow their top.
Oh my God, when I see
That's a teacher.
meltdowns, yeah,
Yes.
it's just like,
Okay.
there's a lot of good stories of that. Just not, like knowing,
So some I'll tell someday. Maybe that'll be in the book.
Yeah, that'll be, yeah, exactly.
That we won't embarrass anyone today. But it is, there's a lot of trust that happens. We kind of skipped over his high school and early.
It doesn't matter. It's all good.
Your dad?
No, what about him?
Are you are you a dad?
Oh, am I a dad? Your dad.
Are you a dad?
Are you a dad? Yes, I have two daughters.
Oh, okay.
One's 21, and she's at Claremont McKenna University or college.
Okay.
And then my other daughter is Madison, and she's 16, and she goes to Notre Dame High School.
Oh,
Yeah, so they're both great.
sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize you had a daughter that young.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good, calm dad, too. I'm just going to stare at the camera.
Oh, that's nice.
Good, calm dad.
I try.
Carry it all through.
Yeah.
Again, just try to, ease everybody.
Nobody's going to die.
Yeah, ease.
right.
Ideally on a session.
Yeah,
Actually, I've
exactly.
never had anyone die on a session. Knock wood.
No, I haven't either. I had to think about it.
Yeah.
There was somebody that died at Warner Brothers on the podium. I forgot who it was.
Like had a stroke or just.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And
You know what?
it was before me, so don't blame me. But it was like,
This is unrelated to the podcast, but I've often thought when I'm driving down the freeway in LA,
Yeah.
like, how come more people aren't like running off the road, stroking out, having a heart attack?
You're sick.
I know
Jesus.
it's bad. The shit that goes through here is very concerning. But when you got, a city of 10 million people,
Right.
it seems
You'd think
like
the'd be 3 or 4 each day that
you
just
know what I'm
drive off the
saying?
edge of the road.
Just going over the hill. Anyway, but that's what you don't want to have happen on a session is you don't want the car to go off the bridge.
Right.
And so that flow, back to that and that pacing that you learn and you got to see on the big scoring stages and see that is a very different flow from making a rock record.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why I'm good at it. I mean, not a.
You're amazing at it.
No, I don't mean that. I'm
He's
saying
amazing at
I'm
it.
good at it in terms of like I can't get drum sounds for 2 days or 3 days or what. I just can't.
I'd shoot myself.
I would die. So I don't think it's in me to be like, so I'd rather go.
Do it again.
I'm about, make it fast, efficient, move forward.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I have the attention span to sit and wait and do stuff like that. Like
You'd probably surprise yourself.
Nah, I would despise it. I couldn't.
It wouldn't be fun.
No, I couldn't
For
do
you.
it. No.
Now, speaking of that, not despising anything, but speaking of that, have you done like jazz records and stuff?
Yeah, I've done jazz records and I've done big band records, and I love that stuff because that's also I like almost like the Wrecking Crew. I like the intimacy of everyone playing together.
Yes.
So if everyone can play together and interact, and that's when you get great performances. And it's not like piecemeal where you record one instrument
And that's
record
been
another
and
instrument,
more and
record
more.
another instrument.
And I keep hearing more and more that in your world, in
Yeah.
the world of film composition,
Oh, yeah.
and television,
Striping.
that striping is happening so much more. And I was talking to someone who I'm sure you know very well, Gordon Goodwin.
Oh, sure.
Who's a band leader.
Yeah. He's amazing.
Works a lot with Steve Chenowick.
Yeah.
But he was saying to me, like, and we were talking about Evergreen and places like this and the Eastwood Stage and how important they are, because not only is it easier and does it sound better when everyone's playing together,
Right.
but there are collaborative things and innovative things and improvisational things that will occur when people are feeding off of each other
Right.
and playing together that don't happen when a person's
No, usually what happens...
The oboist is by himself.
I'm telling you,
know?
Even if you do a score and you go, okay, let's record this big piece all together, and we do it a few times, and then you go, okay, great, let's stripe it out, which means, okay, let's do, strings. Okay, now let's do woodwinds. Okay, now let's do brass. And really it's, so they have on the dub stage, they have...
references.
They can have the faders available to go, you know what, strings are too loud. Or it also helps for music editing because picture's always going to change. So picture changes, and then they're like, oh, we have to move this around. So a lot of very talented music editors can move things around to picture and do what they want to do. But the thing that happens a lot of times is it kind of sterilizes the music a little bit because they're basically what happens is you get the strings done, everyone plays it safe. Okay, now we're going to do woodwinds. Everyone plays it safe, and they're looking and they're making sure they're right on the thing, but there's no character. And then because now you're only hearing 8 woodwinds.
Right.
Okay, now after that, now you're hearing just French horns. Now you're hearing just trumpets and trombones. So everyone's just like, play the page, just do that, And so I think it's and then if you listen to the sum of all the parts, and then you listen to when they all played together, there's a dynamic that happens because people are playing more aggressively or laying into it or doing something character-wise and intonation.
Yes.
Everyone's hearing the intonation.
Everyone's hearing the other instruments, and it's inspiring them.
Yeah.
And they get the melody in their head, and they get the whole thing going, not just from the instrument they're playing.
Right. So it is a little tedious, but it's kind of the way a lot of things are done now. There's certain people that don't do that, and it's pretty amazing.
God bless Gordon Goodwin. Did I say that again? Gordon Goodwin.
Yeah.
Well, then anybody that does that, and we... you see the same people if you're fortunate enough to have a job like we do and see some of the same people. So a lot of the great music supervisors, and it was so interesting to me because, I'm friends with George Akulius, and I know of him from 30 years ago as a music producer, as a protege of Rick Rubin.
Right.
And now he's a huge music supervisor, right? And doing every movie on the planet. So we'll do like something, related for Lady Gaga. I think it was probably not out yet. Whoops, should I say that? For Harlequin or whatever. I don't know if that's out yet. But he'll, you'll do something with that. But then she's also playing with the orchestra. Like she's also singing with the orchestra present when the orchestra is playing the part and playing the piece. And she's
amazing,
so talented and so amazing. And such an amazing pianist.
Oh, I know.
Jesus.
It's crazy.
But that I think that if you are listening to this, and if you're a young person, not that any young person will listen to this, I hope they do, but if you're listening to this and you kind of figure out like, well, how do I do that? Well, we're telling you, you go to Loyola, you study,
do it.
and then you just do it. You get a job.
But see, the thing is there's even more opportunities now because there's a lot of content.
So.
There's a lot of content, and there's not...
That's what I said.
There's not a lot of gatekeepers for knowledge. Now you've got podcasts, YouTube, like online courses. You've got so much more than we ever had when growing up.
Yeah.
So now it's a matter of finding a job, hooking on with composers or producers or other engineers. And I think the thing that people don't do is they don't hang with other engineers. Like if you're an engineer, you don't hang with other engineers because you think it's competition, which is so dumb.
I'm not like that.
No.
And you're not either.
I'm not.
Yeah.
It's like you learn a lot of stuff from different people. So I think it's, you shouldn't
and not
close
even,
your mind like that.
Yeah, not even just coming up, but if you're watching, and I know this happens for you, I'm sure you watch a movie and you're listening.
Yeah.
You know, when we watch movies,
Yeah,
and I'm not
it's-
an engineer,
yeah.
but just having been in this environment, when I watch a movie, even if it wasn't done here, or I'm listening and I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that. And then sometimes I find that I like certain people and my ear goes to them and I'll see a pattern where it's the same
the people on the
scoring guy.
credits.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
and
same
I'm like,
person on
oh,
the
wow.
credits. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe, I don't know whether that's just your ear goes to the familiar possibly. I'm not quite sure what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, nobody needs to be afraid of anybody. We're all here to help each other, give each other a leg up, to learn from each other. And if you're lucky enough, you know, to be able to go to a school like Loyola or UCLA or whatever, you know, just remember the people that are teaching you did the job.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
not like a situation where they don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of those people, they do know.
They really know.
And, you know, even amongst your classmates, if you got, 10 or 12
Peers.
students, those are going to be peers and you're going to know them for life.
I tell my staff that.
You know? It's like you're in the trenches, because even when I was at Evergreen, 35 years ago, the people I went through there with, I know them, and
Yeah.
now they're head of production,
Yeah,
or
and
now they're like
you're crossing
everyone
paths.
builds relationships that last so long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's such a cool thing about our industry that people don't realize is it's actually quite small. It's big and it's small.
It's big and small. I know.
You know?
It's a small pool of people in a certain sector.
Yeah, in different genres, you know. And there are like the scoring guys.
Right.
And then there's like the rock guys.
Right.
And then there's the hip hop guys.
Right.
And in a building like this, what is different from
You guys get a cross section.
Yeah,
we don't.
we get such a variety, which again is why I tell my staff. I had a staff meeting last weekend. It was right on the verge of HR issues because I want to show the tough love thing, and I said, do you realize how few people get to work
Get the opportunity to do this, yeah.
building?
Right.
You know, where you're going to learn, orchestral stuff. You're going to learn big band. I keep saying the same thing, but you're going to be exposed to all these different styles of music.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important if you're an engineer, regardless of what path you go down, to listen to all kinds of music.
Sure.
You know, listen to fucking Zydeco, whatever.
Right.
Listen to big band stuff. Listen to everything. We were talking about diverse producers earlier, and some producers, will kind of stay in a lane.
Mm.
And then others, like Adam was, he'll do Etta James.
Right.
He'll do Bonnie Raitt. He'll
Right.
do the B-52s.
Right.
Johnny Cash. He'll just
Right,
do
all
all
over the
kinds of
place.
crazy
Yeah.
stuff all over the place. And
Right.
and he's a great musician, too. Now, when you... So you're coming up through Evergreen, then you end up at Warner. You
Yep.
work at Fox a lot now, too?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what kind of changes have you seen besides the striping? What kind of changes have you seen in, I don't know, is there different techniques from what you've learned from like a Sean Murphy or new stuff? Or is it pretty similar?
God.
That's a weird question.
No, it's not a weird question. I'm trying not to get in trouble right now. So. No,
You're not going to get in trouble.
No. Okay, so here's the thing: is like the stuff.
Nobody listens to this podcast
come on,
anyway.
no, we got nothing. So
That's not true.
The way I went through the ranks on this and wanted to emulate like Armin Steiner and
Yeah, I
Danny
love
Wallen
him.
and Sean Murphy and Dennis Sands and Bobby Fernandez was a real mentor. He got me in at Warner
What
Brothers.
a nice
So
guy.
those kind of people, like I was working through with them.
What a sweetheart. Bobby.
Yeah,
Sweetheart.
it was great. So I tend to do a lot of stuff similarly to them because I like that sound. Now you get a lot of people that are like, Mike on every instrument and Mike.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
like,
you know
kinda
what?
Like, fuck that.
When I see that, especially, and I'm sure for you on a bigger stage in
Yeah.
particular where there's
Yeah.
a lot of air. Those of you who don't know about music, rooms and acoustic spaces are an instrument unto themselves.
Absolutely.
And color and lend a quality. And so when we see, and this is very true, by the way, if you're listening to this and you over mic, don't. Because when you book a session, we always tease. And there's one alum from here, Chad, I'm going to shout you out.
Ouch.
No, he's a great engineer. And I think he just wants mic choices. I'm going to defend him on that one. But I'll see, like, if it's a 12-piece string date and there's 30 mics. Or even if there's 12, I don't want to see more than 6.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Because you don't, Okay, the instrument has to breathe. The instrument actually has to be heard. If you close mic everything, you're kind of chopping it off at the neck, so to speak, in a way.
Right.
Right? You're not allowing it to...
Yeah, I think it's...
Does that make sense?
I don't know if it's... sometimes it's, people get nervous. So
I think it's fear.
I think it's a lot of times they might not have the experience, so they're gonna
overdo it.
They're gonna overdo it because I think they're nervous that either the client, producer, composer is gonna go, hey, can we get a little more of that,
that
second
woodwind
clarinet?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, I'm fucked. It's like, no, it's okay. You're fine. You got some woodwind spots.
There's four players and you've got two mics and some overheads.
And you've got some overheads. You're fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes people get crazy. And, it's one of those things that an input list will come to me that I have to help on
dude.
And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
Less is more.
But only when better.
True.
And that's a Carrie Butler line.
That's a great line.
Yeah.
Less is more, but only when better. Yeah. But yeah, that's true. If we see that though, yeah. One mic for two violins is plenty.
It's probably more than enough. It's probably too much.
It's one too many.
It's one too many.
But it's true because that is something, if you're a young engineer and all you've been doing is working in a home studio and you're doing hip hop or you've got beats or whatever, you're listening to this and you think you know everything. Guess what? None of us know everything.
Yeah,
we're all trying to figure it out, fly by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
But just realize that like you want to allow the instrument to be heard.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's my rant on that. That's my rant on over miking. But it is true. Even in my position, I see that come across my desk. I'm like, oh no, this guy's a knob.
A knob.
Yeah,
I like that.
I had a sticker on my keyboard that said, don't be a knob. Like, don't be a novice. Like a knob. But it said, don't be a knob.
I like that.
But yeah, it's funny. I'll give it to you. You can use it. So yeah, you get to... I've been so lucky, dude. You get to be around these incredible musicians, there's the John Williams, there's all these incredible composers. And I've stand outside of Studio One, which only holds about 60, not 80. And I stand outside that room sometimes when you're working and when there's a full section happening in there. And it's
magic, I know.
It is just so moving.
Well, I think,
I'm so corny right now.
No, it's very true. The thing that, like, when I'm, vibing off the room and everyone's, like, playing together really well and you've got great musicians, I always think of, okay,
it's like angels, man.
Each musician spent maybe 50 years playing and practicing.
Yeah.
So 50 times 100, if it's a giant stage, is like, that's hundreds of years of experience of just...
And passion.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what kind of trips me out sometimes is how good all the musicians are.
Dude, in L.A., we have some of the best players in the world.
It makes engineers and producers' jobs so easy.
Easy.
You push up the faders, you're like, yeah. It's easy.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
I made this happen. Yeah. I have this. I'm going to propose this concept to the union. I know they're going to think about it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think that we should spend more time with the lawmakers in Sacramento, giving incentives to Sony and to the people that make movies and make films to keep things. Not just in L.A. or California, but in the United States. The players in Prague are amazing. The players in London are amazing. The players in Bucharest are getting great now. It's fantastic, and I don't begrudge any of those musicians being able to be heard.
No, they were given opportunities, and they're killing it.
Yeah,
so,
but
let's try and
screwed the pooch with like electronic arts and things like that. And God bless the musicians union. Grateful for you and grateful to you. But I do think that we should concentrate on trying to... We have such amazing players in Los Angeles. And try to keep these people working on movies.
Right.
I
think the danger is that if we get to the point which we're at kind of a critical level now, if we don't keep the three large rooms left and we don't keep these mid-sized rooms open, then it could end up being like in New York City where things are now changed and this will never come back, and I don't want that to happen. So I agree with you that
it will change the quality. It will change the quality of what, and the consumer will notice it. They might not know why it's not as good
or whatever. But even the tough thing is, I think they've gotten used to going to London, and a lot of people go to Nashville, and it's all great.
Yeah.
But then
California, work on being a right-to-work state so that the union players
please.
can play on union dates. You get your dues, you get your share, you put it into your pension. And if you play a non-union date, you're not penalized because, A, you need to make a living, support your family, et cetera, et cetera. And I think the FICOR thing is helping.
That's the one thing that IATSE, like our sound union, is smart with. It's like, I can do union work and I can do non-union work.
Yeah, and it's same for the studio.
It's brilliant. It's like, it makes total sense because all the non-union work I do is like trying to build up, and then these people kind of graduate into bigger, better things.
Yes.
And then they've already got their team in place.
Yeah, I mean,
let's make it happen.
It's very interesting because East-West, where we're sitting right now, and that's what 6,000 Sunset is called now, and thanks to Doug Rogers, the owner, God bless you for saving it and keeping it going. The irony is it's owned by a sound library company, and when I was friends with Doug long before I ever worked for him, and I thought, oh, this is going to be crazy. Like, how's that going to work? And I think that musicians and people thought, oh, the sound libraries are going to replace us. Well, not only has that not happened, nor is it going to happen, it's actually been a little bit of what we were saying, which is that a composer who couldn't have a 50-piece orchestra when he's doing the demo, when he's writing the original score and fleshing out the idea, now he can do this on his own. Then he gets the gig, then he hires real players.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen any indication that people using these tools has gotten rid of it just hasn't. Now, what is going to get rid of them? What's going to get rid of it is if rooms like this close. Yeah, that's what's going to change it.
There's no options.
Yeah. But the musicians are amazing, and what a life of dedication to be that type of musician, classical player. I mean, the LA Phil's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Crazy.
And in
we're
LA,
spoiled. We got the bowl.
We're totally spoiled. We could go do anything.
Any given night.
I know.
It's amazing. And here, incredible players. I mean, swinging back around to your background, now your dad was a session player in the 60s and 70s, in the union, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how it was back then. I don't know. Was it the same? Did they get in trouble if same rules?
I don't know. But the thing here's the thing, is there were people that did off-contract, non-union stuff.
Right.
But there was those group of people.
I also think there's a different contract for doing a record, like doing a Beach Boys record versus a movie.
Right. There is different contracts, but the thing is, they were smart in Los Angeles to try and keep all the stuff on the card or union because they get pension and benefits and then residuals, and then you see a thing on TV now, and my dad will get a little check or whatever.
Like the company that my husband works for.
Yeah.
Like the people, the fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all great. So there needs to be a balance between the two.
Well, like your union, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, and for us as recording studios, I don't know how many studio facilities are union signatories anymore. We are not. We can record anybody that can come.
Right.
It
used to be that way at Fox, Warner, and Sony, but now it's kind of like whatever the product dictates. So if the product comes in, as long as they have the crew, which is,
right, you're the union crew.
We're the union crew.
Right.
Then we have to be on it. But then the content can be non-union or it can be union, whatever they want to do.
Oh, see, that's a healthy.
It is.
That's a healthy thing. Well, it keeps people working.
Man, I'm telling you, that's the name of the business right now, is just to keep going.
And to keep people playing. I mean, so many great people. So what you learned is keep playing, don't over mic. Listen to your elders. No.
Exactly.
Listen, I don't know. What have we learned? No, I haven't learned anything. Anyway, what are you now? You've got quite a few more years before you retire.
I don't know.
So what are you? Do you have a studio in your house now?
I do. I have a small mix studio, so I can. It was.
What do you have in your home studio?
I just basically just a bunch of screens and Pro Tools, and that's it. I mix in the box because I do a lot of commercials, or I did a lot of commercials until that changed a little while ago. But I did a lot of commercials, so I used to have an analog console and the whole thing, but problem is with commercials, they'd call you in 4 weeks and go, hey, I need this, this, and this, and you need to change that. And I'm like, so I'd have to recall.
And a million revisions.
So I was like, you know what? No. In the box, double click, there's your previous project, reprint the stripes, done. Yeah. So that's, so I just mix in the box. I've got, the surround mix room kind of thing.
And that stuff wasn't recorded in your house?
No.
Yeah. See, this is the difference. You know what I mean? And when we were talking earlier about there being so much content, when you go to a recording school, don't limit yourself to thinking like, oh, I'm going to work in a recording studio, because there's, and I talked to the schools about this.
Sure.
There's every pro sport event, car racing.
Everything's got an audio
everything's
department.
HD. Everything's got an audio department. That's crazy. Have you ever been on those trucks at a race? There's like 300 voices in your head. It's crazy.
Yeah, sports audio is like
it's nuts.
Beyond.
Broadcast.
I've never seen anything like it. Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. And everything's HD. I mean, now people are watching high school games.
Right.
In HD.
I know.
Right? And that's audio.
Yeah.
So don't, and also the good news is you can work for yourself, like you can have a place to mix at your house, like Damon's saying, or you can align with a composer and be his guy,
right?
And stuff like that. So there were limitations when we first started. You couldn't have it was rare to have a large format console in your house.
Right.
Your wife would get mad.
Right.
It would take over the dining room.
Yeah.
But now you can do that. And the tools, I've never been anti-technology, and I've never been against anything for artist empowerment. So if you're an artist and now you can make your demos at home, just know that if you're lucky, and you can build your following on social media, so you don't really need a label in the beginning.
Right.
Labels are banks, by the way. No offense to the labels. God bless you. A very necessary component for tour support and all those kinds of things. But artists can make their own music now, and then if they're lucky and something happens, like I was saying earlier about the sound libraries, I see that composers then want to come in, hire real players, and do the score with you, real musicians.
Right.
If you're a young artist and you're doing your demos, and if you're good, this is the giant if you're good and you're lucky, then you think in your head, like Phineas and Billy. Like Phineas was so great. They came in not long ago and they did a week in Studio 2 to do drums. We know they made music in their bedroom.
Right.
We all know this success story.
Yeah.
But then they came in and he said, Candace, I get it. I get why people come in to do drums in a room like Studio 2.
Sure.
He was like, bing.
Yeah.
The light bulb goes off and you realize it's only going to make it better.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that is the goal.
That is, yeah.
To make it better.
Yeah, don't get in the way.
What do we say? Less mics?
Less is more, but only when better.
Yeah, less is more, but only when better. Thank you, Carrie Butler, on that one. So you've got the thing in your house. Is there anything you want to do? Is there anything you want to explore? Do you want to go to Capri in Italy and build a studio?
No, I just like to go there. No, you know what?
You'll be hearing the audio on the boat, and it'll be bothering you.
Yeah, it'll be like, there's actually fuck it.
And your other cousin who does those tours in Italy.
Oh yeah,
his audio's probably fucked up.
I want to do that. Yeah,
and we need to do that.
I think what it is I did some teaching in Beijing, China.
How cool was that?
It was really fun, and it was about a month ago, and they had a big giant 4,000 seat theater that they wanted to do, orchestral recording. So we had students and composers and do this whole thing.
Oh, and I'm sure the kids are super disciplined because I'm stereotyping the young Chinese.
Yeah, really? Wow. How dare you?
How disciplined, but in a positive way. It's a positive stereotype.
It was fantastic. So I've done stuff like that, and I've done stuff in Vancouver and in Nashville and done these kind of seminars. And that's what I love it.
You're finding you like that.
I love it. I mean, it's a lot. I'm pulling from my resources from teaching at UCLA for so long. But then I just like the experience of seeing the world and sharing. People
that are actually excited.
They're excited. Yeah, they're not jaded and depressed.
People that don't want to. Yeah, that aren't asleep.
Yeah, they're not sleeping and jaded and depressed here. Yeah, it's I like that.
Have you been to Blackbird yet?
Yeah.
Isn't it great?
It's really fun.
Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, so I went there for I went to mix with the masters in France.
I love them,
and that was
Victor
amazing.
Maxime.
And then I did Met Alliance at Blackbird, and that was really fun because it was like, how many studios do you have here? It was like
9.
everywhere you turn, there's like another studio and another cool room. And I'm like, I thought, was I in this room? No, and I'm like,
John McBride is such a talented, one of the nicest
cool.
people on the planet. He's been on the show, and I was on his.
Oh, cool.
He was like the 4th episode. You listen to it. There's no video. You'll love it. He's amazing. He's so interesting. And married to the beautiful Martina McBride, who's incredibly talented. But he talks a lot about how he got started and how he got the bug from going from live sound to studio and collecting gear and stuff like that. And it's such an amazing facility. But again, rooms like that, rooms like Ocean Way Nashville that Belmont has, rooms like this.
Right.
It's really important, and I'm glad. Right on with Beijing, China. I mean, they've got this venue.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it'll develop into anything, but it was a really good experience for me. And
now,
is
it part of a school program? Or?
It's a university there.
Oh, okay.
And it's the biggest university, in
Did
Beijing.
Was there like language barrier? Not too much?
Yes.
Did you have someone with you that was like a translator?
That was with me, and then there was half the class was in English, and then there was some translation stuff, and then there was a big screen, so as you'd talk, it would print out, So it was, I was really well taken care of, and it was really fun, and everyone was excited about it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was cool.
Was it a cross thing between UCLA or?
No, it had nothing to do with them.
Interesting.
It was just.
How'd they find you?
I think I was about the 5th person on the list.
No, I don't think so.
I think so. So I think everyone said no, and I said yes, and that's how it happened. So,
dude, that would be fascinating.
It was great. It was really great. I got the call, like, really, it was like, similar to you. Can you do this? When?
Tuesday?
3 weeks. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay.
You got to fly to China?
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
So now we know that you're, what's the word?
Not
impetuous. What's the word? To do stuff on, it's English. It's a language apparently I haven't learned yet.
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous.
Yes.
Boom.
That's a gigantic word.
Not really, but it's the beginnings of early dementia. That's what's happening here. Like I can't remember my own name. I think it's that my hard drive is full.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's what really happens. I think the cure for Alzheimer's, they'll come up with a way that they can purge part of your brain and then
just
partition stuff off and reallocate and clean it up a little.
Right. Control,
open up,
delete, like force quit, like push the thing on the Mac until
open up some space over here. Put in a new work drive.
Seriously, that's all we need.
Here's
really.
hoping. You guys that are doing Alzheimer's research, I'm telling you, that's the plan. So I can see now that that's something you enjoy, and I can see your wheels turning, and that's more, you want to do more stuff like that.
I loved it. I'll do it anywhere. I want to go.
He's willing to go.
I'm going. I got
Branson, Missouri. Here I come.
I can't wait.
It's going to do it. It's going to be fantastic.
Yep. I've got global entry now, so I can do it.
Did you do that? I was thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, I'm going to New York for AES, so let me know if you're going to go, because I want to.
When is that?
It's in October, and there's a new studio opening. Well, it's not new, but it's studio opening there called Bentley House. Mm-hmm. And Paula Salvatore, our beloved friend who ran Capitol for a very long time, Paula and I are going to fly out. And the owner of the studio, his name is Bentley Meeker, wants to have an event to showcase his plays, and it's cool. His place is cool, and it has like an API, and it's got a Neve room, and then it's got like 4 bedrooms. And I don't know why he thinks I'm worthy of this. Thank you, Bentley.
How fun.
But he's flying me out to this event, and I reached out because you mentioned the Meta Alliance, and I reached out to Chuck Ainlay and Frank Filippetti and Elliot and George Massenberg.
Yes, bow down for sure.
I love George so much, and I reached out to them and said, "Hey, are you guys going?" And they said they are, and I said, "Well, please." Meta Alliance people support me and Paula and come to this event. So I think that's going to happen. I'll fill you in on that later.
Yeah, please do.
But I mean, one of the things that I want you to take away from this, and one of the things that Damon so rightly emphasized, is that there's more content than there's ever been before.
Right.
Music is everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can be a recording engineer, and you can work in a million different places.
Right.
The broadcast truck, scoring stage, recording studio, radio station, I don't know.
Right. And you just got to say yes. I want to try it. I want to do it.
That's the key. Don't say no.
Well, you know what? It's like I got a call years ago to do some front of house stuff. And I was like, do you do front of house?
You're like, I'm not a live sound guy.
I go, yeah.
I could.
And I did, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I was like, oh, God, and I did freak out for a little bit, and I was like, I maybe I don't know what I'm doing, And it was like, everything's related. It's like, it's a console.
Dude, it's signal flow, bro.
And you push it.
Microphone goes into machine.
It's like this. Sounds like shit. Okay. Sounds like shit. Okay. Sounds great. That's all you got to do, right? So it's like you just and
well, but live sound, dude, that's the other
thing.
Stress because
it's a whole different thing,
dude. You're mixing on the fly,
yeah, which I love. Yeah. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, and there's no change in. I mean, yes, you can. Yes, you can mix a concert when you mix the concert later if you're going to do it for broadcast.
No, but live with the audience.
Oh, dude, live with the audience.
I think the thing I was most scared of.
Where's the guitar player? I can't hear shit.
Exactly.
I'm in the third row.
It wasn't about it was really about monitors because I was like, oh man, and fortunately they had their own monitor person. I was like, oh.
Monitor mixer
off to the side.
Explain to the people who are listening difference between monitor mixer and front of house.
So you got front of house, which is like, if you push up the faders, then the audience hears what you're hearing, right? Monitor mixer is a person that's off the side of the stage that is like mixing, not headphones, but usually stage monitors or now in-ear monitors. So that person will go, okay, more bass.
And that's what the musicians are hearing.
For the musicians are listening to that mix, and they're going, okay, more bass, less of this, whatever. So sometimes on smaller venues, it's difficult because you're doing front of house, and then you're also sending monitors to the stage. So you get into this battle with yourself of like, it's too loud on stage for monitors for everyone to love it, and then your mix is being jeopardized because there's a lot of stage bleed on the stage.
Is there a feedback thing that can happen?
Yeah. I mean, it's scary. It's not a lot of fun. So
you're a thrill seeker. Who knew?
Yeah.
Underneath this calm exterior, you're really just a crazy man.
I am a crazy person. Yeah. Front of house is really, really fun, but it's stressful.
Again, that's a John McBride thing because that was John's thing. John had a small PA company in Kansas, and he got like a regional thing happening, and that was his background. And he's a studio engineer as well, and a really good one.
Yeah.
But he's one. There's a few people that have bridged that gap, and have done both or done one or the other, or gone from one to the other.
Right.
And it's a different world.
Yeah, it's totally a different world. They've got their own way of their whole. The way they talk about, all the, I can't even come up with it.
Is it like lingo?
Like lingo, like A2. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, somebody help me out here.
An A2 is a person, isn't it?
I guess. I don't know. It's like an assistant, right?
Right.
But whatever. So they call stuff their stuff, and we call our stuff our stuff. But you kind of figure it out, and you get the lay of the land. And as long as you kind of come in and you're not like, I know everything. You're chill. You can learn
So the message is don't be a douche? Is that the ultimate message?
That's really the message for this broadcast.
For this entire podcast.
Yeah, and it can just go across the bottom as
don't be a douche. Or a knob.
Yeah, a knob. I like knob.
Yeah, don't be a knob.
But if you can, and you can gain the support of the people that you're working with at a live venue, and you say, hey, I normally do studio stuff, but I'm just going to do, I'm hired to do this thing. I'm excited about it. And they're like, okay. Great.
And they'll be
we'll
cool.
Help you. We'll help you.
Instead of, I'm a big dick, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. And then that never goes well. So
in most things.
All things.
In life.
Yeah, just be cool.
Just be cool.
You're going to,
John Travolta said he made a movie. Just be cool.
What movie is that?
It was a movie about films where he was wanted to get into music producing. He did Get Shorty, and then he did Be Cool, and in Be Cool, he went from films to music.
Really?
Travolta. It was a character.
Is it any good or no?
The good movies, yeah.
Okay,
Uma Thurman, John Travolta.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Just be cool.
About making movies and then making records.
Oh, funny.
Interesting. Right. Yeah, be cool. It's a good movie.
All right.
So yeah, just be cool.
There you go. Just be cool. Don't be a douche.
Mic drop. Is there if you were talking to your 17-year-old self?
Oh God. Okay.
What would you say?
I would say,
don't get that girl pregnant. Oh wait, that didn't happen.
Wow.
That didn't happen.
I would say,
wear a condom. No, never mind.
Oh my goodness.
Now, what would you?
I'm blushing.
Well, he is blushing. What would you say to your 17 or 18-year-old self to encourage and steer in the right direction?
Okay, so I think what happens is you get a little bit of a good gig and you start off and you're like, yeah, this is awesome. And you think your career literally will go like this.
Yes.
And it just
goes
won't.
like this.
It goes, boom. I'm retired. Oh, no, I'm not retired. Yes, you are. Oh, my God, I'm killing it. No, you're out of money.
That's very true.
And so I think what the pandemic taught a lot of people is that when your accountant would say, you need to have 6 months to a year's savings in your...
Who are these accountants?
What are we talking about? I don't have that. Nobody has that.
Nobody has
right?
that. Yeah.
And the only people that have that are people...
Are the accountants.
that do it. They make some money and they put some aside. And they make some money and they put some aside. And they just do that. And then... Those are the people that...
And rainy day in L.A. is really a misnomer.
There's no rainy days.
There's no rainy day.
Yeah, so that's why you spend all your money. So what you have to do is plan for those dry periods, and those dry periods suck. And you really, I think you get emotional thinking, oh my God, I suck, and I'm never going to get any work again.
No one's going to hire me again.
No one's going to hire me because I'm not working right now. And the big thing, I think the social media thing sucks too because...
In general.
In general, it sucks.
It does.
But it really sucks when you're down and you go and you watch and you go...
Because misery loves misery.
How did that person get this job? How are they working with this composer? How did they
I'm better than them.
So
even if you're humble.
I'm trying to really curb it because it just gets me mental. And the thing is if you can weather the storm of having money, and my 17-year-old self would be like, have some fat savings and just... keep putting it away and then just keep going.
Yeah, and buy some gear.
Whatever. Don't buy gear.
Well, I mean, so you could do stuff at your house.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll buy gear. Yeah.
You buy a little bit of gear.
Buy a little bit of gear.
Yeah, because it's a write-off too.
There you go.
Hold on to your money.
Yep. Just keep the money for the dry times.
Yeah, I mean, during the pandemic, and we were so lucky because we were actually only shut down for about a month and a half.
I can't believe that.
I became a COVID compliance officer. Hey now. One of the things we did was we put those on a serious note when that was first happening. I thought, oh God, how are we going to do what
this?
Are we going to do? How's this going to work? We cut the room limits in each room drastically to help make people feel comfortable. And Peter Rotter, if you're listening to this, you were instrumental in that first meeting during when COVID happened. We were all on a Zoom with 9 people, some people from film. From Warner and stuff like that, and you guys were kind of trying to make the studios liable if people got sick, but you didn't, and you were great, and thank you so much for not doing that. But what ended up happening is we realized early on that we all had to work together and to follow these protocols and stuff like that. But what happened was we put these filters in our air conditioning units, which I fully believe really helped us a lot because every 30 seconds recycles the air, kills all the germs. It would burn your retinas if you could see it. It's right. So that was the thing we did early that was great. But as a venue, as a place, when the scoring stages still hadn't reopened, we had one of the busiest years we'd ever had.
Right.
Because we could still do, and they were smaller dates, but it was maybe 20, 25 people spaced out with lots of room between.
Right.
Now, there was some wacky stuff that happened during that with the barriers and the plexiglass and the, the
shower
way
curtains around people.
And just the way from an engineering standpoint, what a nightmare.
It was tough.
To kind of capture stuff while keeping people safe and making them feel comfortable. But we were very lucky because we were able to operate much earlier and get back on track long before the scoring stages were legally all legit.
Yeah, right.
And we did like Clifford the Big Red Dog and like Minions and stuff like that. And I think the people at Warner and Fox, they were like, oh my God, thank God for East West and thank God for United. And and then we had the writers' strike last year.
The strikes killed a lot of us.
It killed so many people. I mean, if you
don't have
writers,
not back.
I know. If you don't have writers, then shows don't get made. And even though music is on the tail end of the production, post-production for a film, that starts in November, or rather that starts in May. And we don't feel it initially with the writer's strike, but then by September, we're like, oh, crap, because now there's no TV shows.
Well, yeah,
now
and then that was the big promise. Well, beginning of 2024, we're going to be killing it. I'm like, and then now they're like, maybe 2025. I'm like, what's going on?
And then there was a Teamsters thing, too, that almost happened.
So it's kind of like, okay, we're all kind of hoping that everything kicks back in.
Again, back to people in California. This is entertainment is one of the main livelihoods of this state and of Southern California in particular. So you lawmakers out there and you politicians and on the grassroots level, the people that work in each district, think about your people and what they do to make a living and do your very best to propose things that keep working in the state, keep people working, keep all the unions talking to each other, working out deals. And you people at the film companies, come on, spread the love.
Come on.
You know, let's pay the writers. You're making some money. Let's pay the writers. You don't have to do everything in, Bucharest. God bless Bucharest. But, spread the love. Keep entertainment going. And I will say that Netflix, Amazon, etc., Apple.
Yeah.
Dude, Apple TV's killing it. Now, I don't know how much they're doing in LA, but there is, again, more content.
More content.
So more content is good. Mm-hmm. More content means more work for musicians, more work for engineers, for everybody, music editors, the writers, every single person. The next movie you watch, especially the ones that have a lot going on, like an action film or something like that, look at how many people it takes to make a movie.
That's the truth. From
every grip, every electrician, the stunt guys,
the visual
effects, everything that is happening. It's
hundreds and hundreds
of people in different locations. Again, I'm not a hater for other locations.
Right.
I just want people to realize how important it is to keep that community going and to keep it happening.
Right.
And to support the people that support the creators.
Right.
Right. From that kid that's in school right now and you think you want to be a screenwriter, go for it. We need that. We need people to write more stories. We need people to write more movies,
Right. Absolutely.
We need the next J.J. Abrams. We need the current J.J. Abrams. We need all the Abrams. But I think, you'll hear these funny stories about, J.J. Abrams liked a certain video game, and then he liked the score on that video game, and then that's how he found that composer that did that video game, and then he had him do a movie. Michael Giacchino,
and then it kept going.
That all happens, and it's all, it's not luck. It can be timing.
It can be timing, but the thing is, if you don't put yourself
out there
in the opportunity, then nothing's going to happen. And if you don't collaborate with other people, then nothing's going to happen.
Throw yourself in front of the car. Oh, wait a minute. Make yourself available.
That's what
That's what I meant.
That's what we meant.
Is there anything that you would like to explore, that you would like to do that you haven't? We talked about you traveling and doing stuff like that. Do you have any desire to? Are you a music editor?
I'm a music editor because I have to be, a lot of times, I think the stuff that I love doing, which I want to do more of, let's throw it out to the universe. I do Family Guy and American Dad.
Best.
And I did Animaniacs, which was also great.
I remember that.
So those are all live scores that happen in real time, and you're live mixing it. So if you record from 10 to noon, then the live mix that we're doing is done, and that gets shipped off, and that's what goes on television, which is amazing.
Like how quickly is it out?
It's out, in a couple weeks or whatever. They mix it a few days later, and then it might be a month that it'll be on TV. So that stuff
I want you to do Bob's Burgers.
I do too.
Yes, that
but
needs
whatever.
to happen.
They might have their people, so I don't want to bother them.
We don't. Well,
no.
Meet Damon Tedesco.
Anyway,
he's one of
we'll talk. But the thing is I want more live scoring that's in that old fashioned, and I say old fashioned because it's not striped out. It's everyone playing together, and I think the clients are like, whoa, this is so cool.
Yeah.
We love this. So I want more of that. So if I can throw out to the universe, I want more scores, and I want more. It doesn't have to be animated. I can be live action, but more people playing together, and that's what my favorite thing to do.
If you're a young person and you're becoming a music executive at a Netflix or an Apple or something like that, listen to this and hear what we're saying, because it's going to be, you're going to go to that date, you're going to go to that session, and you're going to go, bink.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing that composers need to bring directors to the scoring session.
Yes.
And then
this is what we do.
Need to bring producers from the show
To the session.
To the session. And then they go, wow, I never knew that this existed. And it's like, well, okay. But that's okay. You just go, yeah, this exists, and this is what we do, and this is
important.
So then people don't have the idea that they could just snap their fingers and get music.
Yeah.
You have to go here, you have to watch, you have to experience it, and then that's what's really important, is to bring those producers, directors,
everybody
execs to a session so they can view it and see it for themselves and go, whoa, this is
magical.
Spending the money on doing live music.
Yeah, a lot of times in a production, we're out of money, and we always tease amongst ourselves and say music is the redheaded stepchild to film.
Right.
But the truth is, if you've ever seen a movie without music,
right,
or obviously dialogue, but if you've ever seen a movie, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah, right.
It's lame. Mm-hmm. So don't be lame. Don't be lame. Don't be a knob. Don't be a douche. Be cool. Say yes.
Wow, we have learned a lot.
We've learned a lot today. Wow. I think I look forward always when I say this from my heart. When I see that you're going to be on a session, I breathe a sigh of relief.
Oh my God.
No, I do.
That's very sweet of you.
Well, because you know what you're doing. And if someone is in the room with you, as long as they're enthusiastic, that goes a long way. Vibe and enthusiasm go a long way. Like he said when he was doing the live sound thing. If you don't know,
just
say you don't know.
Say you don't know, and somebody's going to help you out.
Yeah, and someone will help you out. However, if you're going to do a session with Damon, have your shit together. Look at the input sheet the night before. Have the plan. He's doing it all for you. He's sending everything to you.
I do a lot of stuff for other people's.
You send you send the most complete setup. Almost. There's a few of you.
Right.
And you're all my favorite. Oh, sorry, microphone. You're all my favorite. Peter Moken, who's here today working in Studio One with Cheche Alera, amazing engineer.
Yeah.
And he's the same. Bitch has a plan. Sends out the plan. And no, you're not a bitch, Peter.
Yeah.
But sends out the plan. Yeah. And so the assistant goes, awesome.
Hey, there's the plan.
This is the plan.
The worst thing you can say is, you know what, we'll figure it out when we get there. I just want to strangle anyone that says that ever on anything.
Well, because it's going to slow it down.
It's going to suck. It's not going to slow it down. It's going to suck. That means we haven't planned. I mean, the thing is, if you plan and change your plan, that's okay. If you have no plan,
called 3 hours ahead and had a motherfucking plan.
If you have no plan, bad.
Dude, I think you had a plan within 15 seconds after talking to me on the phone. Like you were like, oh shit.
Yeah, the plan was get in the car and drive there. That was the plan.
There was 82 people showing up.
In a matter of 4 hours, so we better get our stuff together.
Well, okay, that was a rare that was an exception. Yeah. let's not do that again.
No.
But have a plan.
Well, thank you. That's sweet.
Oh no, you're so awesome, and I mean it, dude. It's a huge relief. So yeah, engineers, have a plan.
Have a plan.
Thank you, Damon.
You're welcome. Thanks,
Thank you so much.
I'm excited to work here next week.
Oh, yes. I will see you next
week.
Excited.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you to our videographer, Nate, who had a
Thanks, Nate.
birthday yesterday.
Oh,
and
nice.
He's probably hung. And my trusty Keith Munson, who left the room. Oh, no, he's in the room.
I see
Sometimes
him.
he sets it and forgets it. But he's there, too. He's an amazing, he's got a master's in trombone.
Really?
We should make him play sometime.
Now.
You could get was it sax?
Oh.
Come on.
There's zero chance I'm pulling out a saxophone.
It's not going to happen. Thank you so much. That's it.